Take it from a guy who's been planning to make his YouTube channel for the past 4 years, lazily, and for the past month, seriously. Starting is half the battle. Honestly, for me, this video, it's going to be one of my first 100 that nobody watches, so I'm mostly using it for practice to get the camera, microphone, editing software experience. And for all we know, I'm going to delete this before I hit 10 subscribers, right? But for the 10 people that do watch this video, I want you to know the sooner you start on the thing that you've been waiting to do for years, it's probably years, the better. You're going to produce crap work the first 100 to 150 iterations, and you just need to get started. Proof is that I've had this mic that I'm using right now that I got from Amazon for the past month. And this is the first video I'm recording because I've spent something like, I've probably written 10,000 words in terms of essays of the YouTube strategy I'm going to do. My top list of YouTubers that I want to emulate with my content, just using my personal personality. And in this month, I've spent so much time writing and preparing and trying to master things. But the one key tip that really changed this for me is this story about the pottery class and how there's this university. I don't know if this is a real story or not, but the moral of the story is pretty cool. It's that the class was split up into two different groups. The first group A of students that needed to create the perfect pot in their pottery class. After 6 months of purely studying how to make the perfect pot, and they looked up, the group of them, they divvied out different videos, different textbooks to study, different like master potters to base their production off of. And group B, who had to create a pot every single day in those 6 months, but weren't supposed to study anything. They were just supposed to create the pots bit by bit every day. And as I say this story, I'm remembering that I've heard it in many different forms, so maybe it's not a real story, because I've heard pottery class and photography class for taking the perfect picture. I believe the moral of the story is that the group B, the ones who practice making the pot or taking the picture every single day for 6 months, every time score better on the final examination than the group A, who studied how to create the perfect pot or take the perfect picture and then only took their first one in 6 months on the last day. Essentially, what I want this channel to be is me documenting my self-improvement journey, and that's becoming a top 10% man, top 1% even one day, in every facet of life. I've journaled this down, but off the top of my head, it's network, net worth, relationships, testosterone, physical looks, gym physique, social life, sex life, you name it, everything. I want to maximize myself into the sharpest weapon I can. And on this journey of documenting it, I want to distill hundreds of hours of myself watching these different YouTube channels that I take inspiration from. The productivity ones, the red pill ones, the dating ones, the mindset ones, the entrepreneurship ones, the career ones, the personal branding ones. Everything. Because when I tell you my vice for how I waste all of my free time, it's not doing drugs, it's not drinking alcohol, it's not any of the other stereotypical bad habits that people have, like eating junk food, whatever. For me, for the past, what am I now, 23, for the past 9 years, like since I was 14 and entered high school, and even before that, to be honest, but let's just say 9, my bad habit has been spending all of my free time, all of it. I'm talking like 8 hours a day, like ridiculous, on YouTube. At the start, it was just watching video game Let's Plays or like how to hack different, how to grind different mobs in different games like MapleStory, RuneScape, you know, the basics, the games we've all played. And it became more into self-improvement as I entered the later stages of high school, and I got more interested in getting successful with women, which is where this starts for all young guys. Let's be honest, it's all because we want more attention from women, so we want to self-improve to make ourselves more attractive, right? Gain more confidence, things like that. If you haven't gathered already, I'm planning on being very authentic and vulnerable on this channel, and I think that that's going to lend itself to the value that gets given to the viewer, because there's so many of these sort of self-improvement top 10 YouTube channels in that every single one of their videos, it's a top 5 ways to be a good conversationalist, top 6 ways to, you know, do this. And it really depersonalizes the experience, in my experience, between the viewer and the content creator. What I want primarily from this channel is to have a genuine connection between my self-improvement journey and yours. I really want us to be involved in each other's growth process because of this switch I've done from recently. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Well, I spent the first 4 years of my self-improvement journey going alone to go fast because I was part of that big majority of the self-improvement young men who want to do this whole lone wolf thing. And, you know, oh, I'm the only guy in my friend group who's into self-improvement. Oh, you know, I'm so cool. I wake up at 5 a.m. and I read books and I'm failing all my classes. But I read the books and I meditate, so I'm going to be a CEO one day. No, obviously that is insane, which is why I've wisened up and transitioned into the go together. In case it's not obvious, I'm not using a script or anything. I'm doing this purely off the top of my head because I think lowering the amount of steps it takes between recording a video and posting it, at least for these first 100 that nobody's going to watch, is what's most important. I've noticed that for my perfectionistic self, you're probably similar if you're seeing these kinds of videos, is that the more preparation I can do, like I mentioned at the start of the video, the more I'm going to do and the less I'm going to act. This channel is an expression of me becoming a man of action rather than a man of inaction. You also notice that on your self-improvement journey, especially when you're going alone to go fast, it gets really lonely. Part of the goal of this channel for me, selfishly, is that I'm hoping to make more friends that are interested in this kind of thing and start a community where we're all going in the same direction together. We're all trying to be high-value men and women, and we go toward that utopian future where we've got that passive income stream coming in. We've got the vibrant and satisfying and cool, fashionable, social and romantic life. We've got, we're supporting our families so that they don't have to work a day in their lives. And all of those good things that I know you've seen in those motivational videos too. I've seen every single one you've seen probably 3 times. And I don't mean that to brag. I mean that to say I spend way too much time watching these things. Suffice it to say, the most important step in a new habit is getting started. I'd like to recap the gems from this video in that it's more important to get started than to get it perfect. It's more important to practice than to study. And while studying can be a great supplement to a good habit, nothing can beat getting started and continually practicing.